Here's something else Satan created, Japanimation.
This is the anime version of Peter Rabbit.
So, do you know why Mickey Mouse wears gloves? It's because he doesn't want to leave fingerprints on his murder victims. He doesn't want the police to track his dirty deeds back to him. Yeah. Mickey Mouse, I swear, that son of a bitch must pay. So, Hey Steve, Greg, have you seen the new Mandalorian show? Mandalorian, oh my gosh. Hey, have you seen Picard season 3 yet? Oh my gosh. No. No. I haven't even seen Picard season 1 episode 1 yet. Yeah, I'm not interested. Mandalorian, you know, I liked it, the first two, but then it got into the whole, oh, you must give up your life in order to, I don't know, they're once it starts reminding me of those god-awful prequels, then just forget it. I just, put it like, what was it? Somebody made a meme of it. Oh, only Siths deal in absolutes, right? And then Luke Skywalker is making that little baby Yoda guy choose between his friend and training or something like that. And then apparently all of that, getting the little baby to Luke was for nothing, I guess. I don't know. So, no, I'm not interested in watching it. I give up. I totally freaking give up. When it comes to Star Trek and Star Wars, it's like battered wife syndrome. It's like, why don't you leave him? Oh, but because I love him. I need him. Yeah, if he loves you, he wouldn't be treating you like that, right? I think the analogy fits. I'm just not interested. I've given up. I've been hurt too many times by this crap. You can't twist my arm. I'm just not gonna bother. The month of March is now over. Month of celebration. So, March 4th was my wife's birthday. And we went out to dinner at the Indian restaurant. She really likes Indian food, so it's what are they called? It's in Maebashi. It's called it's a restaurant called Tamana in Maebashi, and so we went there for her birthday. So yeah, her birthday is March 4th. Mine is March 8th. Okay, and I posted this on my YouTube thing. I don't know if anybody even... I got 8 thumbs up on it, so I know some people have seen it. But I posted... just something really cool happened. So I was driving my wife to work, and it was my... I was listening to my Slowdive CD, and the song Shine was on. And, so my wife, ever since she was hit by a car, she doesn't like sitting in the front seat, just having the road close to her, rushing up at her. I guess she's got PTSD. And so she always sits in the back of the car. And so I was driving and I had my hand, I was holding her hand in the back seat, driving her to work, because she starts work earlier than I do, right? And we stopped at a red light, and I looked back at her, and she smiled at me, and maybe it was just she smiled in a way that I haven't seen her smile in forever. You know, sometimes she's like, what do you want? What are you looking at? You know, and I didn't get that from her, though. She just gave me the sweetest smile. And it was like I was looking back in time. Like for a moment, it seemed like I was looking at my wife from 20 years ago, at least, when we were newlyweds. And it was just this magical experience that it was just amazing. And of course, you know, it was a red light. I had to keep looking ahead, you know, but just really, really special. And that made me so happy. And that was on my birthday. And so she just smiled at me and she said, "Happy birthday" to me. That was so nice. And so my wife turned 46, then I turned 47. Oh God. I don't know what it's going to be like when I turn 50. When I turned 30, I'm like, oh, this is cool, right? And then, like, I just didn't feel like spending time with anybody who was under 30. I just felt like I had, like, you know, Xbox achievement unlocked, you know. And when I turned 40, that kind of turned weird. It felt weird to me. When I turned 50, like my sister just did in December, oh God, I don't know what. Maybe it's gonna feel like, yeah, life's rushing up at me. I'm gonna get PTSD from that or something, right? I don't know how I'm gonna handle that. That's just gonna be weird. So March 10th marked our anniversary of Mayu's first pen pal letter to me. So March 10th, 1995, 28 years ago, I received my first pen pal letter from her. And so, you know, I've written about this. It's on my website. Go to stevethefish.net, go under the Greg's Life. I wrote this long ass essay about you know, my love story and how I met my wife and such. So yeah, that was 28 years ago. It's amazing. And I had given up because I had applied for the pen pal service like 3 months prior, and I never got a response, and nothing happened. And I got like this letter from the ALC Press Correspondence Club telling me that my application had been accepted, and they're going to, over the course of 6 months, match me up with, 3 different pen pals. But she was the only one who wrote me. Maybe if I was, I don't know, I assume I was matched up with others, 2 others, but she's the only one who wrote me. But when I got that letter in the mailbox, I was so happy. I was so happy. And when she had sent me her, like, a photo, because I sent her a bunch of photos of me, and then she sent me a photo of herself, but she was so tiny in that photo that I couldn't really see her face very well. And then it was like, I think about October or so, I think it was about autumn that same year, when I got my first photo of, like, a close-up photo of her. I thought in my mind, this is the girl I'm going to marry someday. And then I thought, you know, don't do this to yourself. You know, she's probably going to give up. She's probably going to get bored with you. She's probably not going to write to you very long, much further. And, you know, don't get your hopes up. You're just going to break your own heart. Don't do this to yourself, Steve. I mean, Greg. And, yeah, I ended up marrying her. So I wrote her a letter for our letter writing anniversary, and I told her about what happened in the car when I looked back, and how she smiled at me, and how that made me just so happy. And that was just a beautiful moment for me. And so then March 24th was our 22nd wedding anniversary. And, you know, I wrote about our wedding on my page under the Greg's Life thing, like way back when, like about a month after I got married or so. I'm thinking about maybe I might expand that. I don't know. But I kind of want to leave the stuff that I've wrote a long time ago. I want to kind of leave it alone, because it's kind of like a testament to where I was. And some of that stuff that I wrote, it was kind of weak. Some of my writing was just kind of, it kind of sucked. You know, like freaking, like I was praising George Bush after 9/11. God. But I'm not going to delete that though, and I'm not going to rewrite that, because that's just what was on my mind at the time. Yeah, I there's so many things I wish I had written back then. Stuff I was going through. And I didn't, though. It kind of sucks. But anyhow, so last weekend I had a conversation with my wife, and you know, in 2019 my wife was hit by a car, and then later that year my appendix burst, and I drove myself to the hospital down a winding road, because the hospital was like down in the valley from here. It's possible I could have blacked out. I could have like launched my car off of the guardrail and tumbled down the cliff or something. I don't know. I don't know. Just thank God that I drove. I parked my car and I stumbled towards the door, and then some ladies, the greeting ladies, they got a wheelchair for me before I fell down in the parking lot. But that year, both of us could have potentially died. And dying is not fun, I guess. I mean, once you're dead, I guess it's okay, because, you know, you're dead. But, right, so I had this conversation with my wife, and about, like, you know, our future, because, you know, we're supposed to inherit my in-laws' house. And I told her, you know, I've never told her before, but I was kind of wondering if she had died, if the house was going to be given to her sister instead, and then I would have nowhere to go, because, you know, because I'm not part of the, you know, bloodline or whatever. She told me though that her mom would definitely fight for that. So my wife and I were talking about, like, you know, what would happen. She said that if I died, she couldn't imagine getting, you know, remarried. She said that she definitely doesn't want to marry a Japanese guy, especially with the freedom that I give her. I told her, you know, they'd never say never, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, she's great. If I was to die, I don't want her to be alone. And I don't want her to have to raise my daughter by herself. I think she would probably move in with her parents, though, if that happened. Yeah. If my wife died, I don't know. I mean, I really don't know. Like, you know, would I ever get remarried? I don't want to think about that. I really don't want to think about that. You know, we've had our difficult times, and even then, you know, I just don't want to think about that kind of a thing. It just makes me sad. Yeah, I don't know what I would do. I can't imagine being married to anybody else but my wife, because, oh, there's just so much that, you know, for 22 years we've really we've developed our own non-verbal communication with each other, just as a way of saying thank you, or or other things, right? It's just without saying a word, we have a way of communicating with each other. How would I, if it doesn't seem real to me. If I was to try to reestablish with somebody else, I don't know. I hope that day never comes. Well, eventually one of us is going to pass away before the other one. Unless we launch our car off a cliff or something or other. But I just don't want to think about it. And I can't imagine being married to anybody else but her. Yeah. Some people ask me, I think my sister asked me, if I would ever come back to America. Or there's this one girl, Sarah, that I worked with her at Wells Fargo back when I still lived in America. That was my last job I had when I lived in America. And Sarah and she had a DS, and so we would play Bomberman after work. Like when it was 5 o'clock, we'd get our DSs out and play some Bomberman together. She was pretty cool. She asked me, because I talked to her like every few years ago, every so years. We talk to each other, we email each other every few years or so. I hadn't emailed her in like 2 years, but she asked me, are you ever going to move back to America? And I can't imagine. I have not been to America since 2016, and that was before the big election, and that was before America turned into such a shit show that the culture changed so dramatically that, I felt it here. I've mentioned about the Agent Smith phenomenon here, I think in maybe my last update or so, where people will just go apeshit on you when they find out if you voted for somebody who they didn't approve of or whatever. And it's just like, come on, what the hell? So, with all this preferred pronouns, bull crap, Feldercarb, Shizer, that, it just seems to me that it's just a way of discouraging people from talking to each other, and it's discouraging young people from finding love with each other. You can't just come up and just tell a girl, look, you're beautiful, because oh, this guy, he asked me for my phone number, and he practically raped me, right? Because I don't find him attractive or something, right? I can't imagine it's really as bad as what it seems to be made out to be through our media and such. I'm only looking at America from a long distance, right? But there's just so much that it's crazy, so crazy, and it makes me think my wife and we met each other when it was still the analog age. Some people I think the last time, or the first time I ever heard somebody on a cell phone, it had to be kept in a purse, this base, and it was connected by a wire. This big freaking thing that woman was talking really loudly at the drugstore, and that thing probably gave her brain cancer or something back then. I have no idea. But, it's just such a different age back then. Some people had pagers, but you would have to dial that pager, and then you would have to put in your phone number, and then they would get paged on their little beeper, and it would give like that phone number you just provided, and then they would like call back, like if they would have to find a payphone and then call you at whatever number you're at or whatever. Crazy, right? Like when I was in college, and there was that girl I really liked a lot. There's many times that I could have, if I had texting on a smartphone, like, hey, I'll meet you at the student union, I'll buy you a coffee, or whatever. People have it easy now. It was just very different back then. You can be at school, and if you don't see each other, then you don't know where each other are. But now, or like just like meeting somebody at the coffee house, and they don't show up, and then you can try calling their home from a payphone, and if they don't answer, and good luck. It was just easy to stand each other up back then, right? It was just that analog, non-digital, non-online. If you went online, you have to go home and turn on your computer and dial in with a modem and such. Sending messages on a BBS, and then eventually email, internet. It was just a different time back then. Just a totally different time. And that was the last time I was ever looking for a romance. It's supposed to be easier now. At the same time, I have single friends that have never been married. And it's like, I don't want to press them, but it would seem to me that it's even easier than before to find love. So I married my wife through a pen pal service, which, admittedly is not like a matchmaking service, like for romance, but that's just how it turned out to be. I have one friend who married a girl from, I think, Match.com. Another friend of mine who married a girl from eHarmony. And I know a guy who's met a girl he really likes. He's divorced, and he's really in love with the woman that he met through one of those matchmaking services. It just seems like it's so much easier nowadays, I guess. But back in the 90s, it was just a different time back then. And back then, in the mid 90s, like being an anime nerd, is you had to keep that under wraps, right? So if there's a girl who likes you, maybe, back in the 90s, and you don't want to keep it a secret, you kind of have to have like a bit of a talk.
There's a lot of things about me you don't know anything about, Daddy. Things you wouldn't understand. Things you couldn't understand. Things you shouldn't understand.
Right? Like, yeah. Back then it was just different. People didn't know what, anime was. And people who did, maybe they were thinking that you're looking at stuff with like school girls being raped by space octopi or something. No, octopuses. It's not octopi. Cactus, cacti, octopus, octopuses. That is actually it's a general faux pas. People believe it's octopi, but it's not. Weird, huh? So, what I'm getting at is, like, let's say, for example, heaven forbid my wife did pass away, and let's just say, for example, I would want to get remarried or whatever. I don't know, I'm not saying yes or no now, but I'm just saying, like, what if, here in Japan, I don't know where I would even begin looking for that. Where would I even look for love? I don't know. Let's just say, for example, I moved back to America. I mean, what would I even do? I worked at, like, IT project offices, doing, like, the not the actual IT work, but, like, the project coordination work. That's the type of work that I was doing. And, would I go back to that work? Could I guess, juggling spreadsheets again? What would I mean, with such a huge gap in between, like, what I had been doing and then, like, the whole time I was in Japan, I don't know. That would be, like, kind of really weird to go through that experience all over again. Yeah, that would be really weird. I had, like, a mental breakdown because I moved to Japan. I lived there for 2 years. I got married, and when I moved back to Arizona, I had a bit of a mental breakdown. It was just such reverse culture shock to me. I didn't handle it well at all. So let's say, for example, I did move back, and I was able to kind of overcome my fear of being reintegrated into American society. All right, what then? If I was to try to look for a woman my age, probably she would be either a widow or divorced or something. What sort of emotional baggage would she have? What sort of emotional baggage would I have? How could she even understand me, being somebody who has lived in Japan? Well, right now it's been 11 years, right? But and on top of that, though, I've been married to this country basically through my wife ever since 22 years ago. And even then I had, been visiting, and, I lived in Japan before I got married. How could I... there would be so much that she would not be able to relate to me to, right? And that's the reason, like, even still, like, even before I got married, the idea of, a girl who wouldn't be able to relate to me, it's just only amplified 100 times more since I've been here. So, yeah, so if I was to marry a girl in Japan, where would I look for that? I don't know. I just don't. I only want to live. Only want to live with my wife. I only want to love her. The idea of finding somebody else and being compatible with them, I'd be starting all over, and it would be kind of a scary experience. I don't think I would be really happy with that. Yeah. So, golly. Yeah. The 90s. Gosh. Be kind. Please rewind, right? So they had, like, these little contraptions that all they did was rewind the VHS tapes. And so you put that in, it went, like, super fast, and then I guess I had heard, like, sometimes the tape would get broken, right? So you rent Top Gun or something like that, and then you try to rewind it on the tape rewinder thing, instead of using your VCR, and then it breaks, and you have to go back to Blockbuster Video and buy them a new replacement or something or other. I don't know. I've heard about horror stories like that. The young people today, they've never heard that, right? Please be kind, rewind. Or, hey, when she gets home, could you let her know I called? Or, could you have her give me a call back, right? So, like, a girl you like, you call her in the 90s, and she's not home, but her moody little sister is there, and then, she's like, yeah, sure, okay, yeah, I'll let her know you called, and then she hangs up, and she's like, oh God, I hate my sister. She has these boys calling for her, and I've got my period, and I owe her, like, some money because that candy bar she got me last week, and my mom's a bitch, and wait, who was that again? Was that that nerd with the glasses, or was it oh shit, I don't know. Whatever. Hey, what's on TV, right? Then call back the next day. Hey, did your little sister tell you I called? No. Yeah. And to make it worse, my parents, we didn't have an answering machine. We did eventually get caller ID, and that was okay. So I would like, oh my god, the girl I like called me, and then call back and she's not home or whatever. It's just, it was a totally different time. You know, they had like fanzines back then, right? Different publishing, you know, whether it's like, you know, skateboarding, culture, or like, you know, import gaming. I think Gyrus, right? If you watch his videos, I think he told me that he had a PC Engine fanzine back in the 90s in the UK. That's cool. I'd like to see that sometime. But yeah, it was just a different era back then. And now supposedly it's easier to find love, even, you know, in different parts of the world. But I wouldn't know because I've never done that sort of thing. I'm just hoping for at least another 22 years of marriage, and that would be nice. That would be nice. So, it's funny though, because like everybody has phones nowadays, but like people don't even call each other. And I noticed that this is one of the annoying things when I had tried to be friends with people who are younger than me. They would text me, I'd text them back. Then, you know, they would text me, and then I'd, you know, text them back. And then, like, and you know, screw this texting stuff. I'm just going to give them a phone call. Why am I even doing this? So I would phone call them, and then they don't even answer the phone. It's like, you just texted me. What the hell? And my sister was kind of turning into that kind of a person too. That's why I didn't really call her very often when I lived in America, you know, before I moved to Japan. It's weird how this technology is supposed to bring us together, but yet it keeps us apart, right? People would be texting each other "I love you" instead of like using their voice to say that. It's kind of sad, I think. You know, it is kind of sad. And when I was a waiter in America, I worked at a noodle restaurant, and one of the saddest things I saw was like there was a family at the dinner table, and the father he had his phone and he was watching a sports game or something. The son had a PSP and he was playing a game, and the daughter had a DS, and then, you know, she was feeding her virtual dogs or something other, and the mom was just quietly just eating her dinner by herself. That just really just broke my heart to see that, because she was the only normal person. And so everybody has like this technology, there's screens in their faces, and the family is like they didn't even, it's like they were sitting together, but at the same time they weren't. They could have been miles apart and it wouldn't have been any different, I guess. That was just really weird and sad to see that. Really, really sad. So, what else was I gonna touch on, I guess? Yeah, American culture is just so weird nowadays. It's just so weird. And I don't get it. I just don't get it. And here, living in Japan, it's nice because people leave me alone, and I appreciate that. At the same time though, after 11 years now, it's like it's kind of starting to get kind of lonely, I guess. But having this channel has been kind of nice because I'm able to interact with people, and it helps out a lot. So yeah, when people leave me feedback, it makes me happy. So I've gotten a couple of, like, I got like a YouTube strike, and then I got another one. They took down a video, but they didn't give me a strike. Like, and it's just for the stupidest things. Because the stuff that I talk about, the stuff I get in trouble for, it like turns out to be true. it's just so dumb. And it's like all these so-called conspiracies, the conspiracy theories, they're turning out to be true, right? Like the graphene oxide that, that I saw the Pfizer documents that have been released. Yeah, it's true. God, dear God. I'm just hoping that this is going to be just a fantastic year of turnaround. So March 13th, the stupid fear masks came off. In theory, the mask guideline was rescinded at last. So goodbye. But everybody else still wears masks. It's really sad and pathetic. It's the whole Stockholm syndrome. It's crazy. Hopefully over time it'll get better, because I haven't seen a whole lot of people maskless, and it just makes me sad. And people are just afraid to take it off because they're afraid of what other people might think, I guess. But I don't wear a mask. Well, I never really did. Yeah. Except for, like, I guess in schools. Hopefully that's gotta be changing with the whole masks in school thing. I don't know. So, have I been busy with hobbies? Kinda. Yeah. So, I've been working on some. Actually, hold on. I'm almost done with the Doronpachi model here. I guess I'll show that stuff later. But yeah, I have been kind of getting back. I've just been writing a lot. I have been writing so much, and I keep, like, I mentioned this, back in December or so. I wrote that essay about, it's turning out to be more like a short story about growing up as a lonely nerd, and perpetually heartbroken lonely nerd, until I finally found love, I guess, with my wife. That essay, I add to it like almost on a daily basis. It has doubled, maybe doubled in length, and it just gets longer because it's like, the more I delve into my past during, focusing on my college years, it's like squeezing a lemon. And like, the more you squeeze that lemon, it, like, your hand starts to hurt, but there's still more juice that comes out. And I've just been really meditating, and just like, stuff would come to my mind. And just this morning I woke up, and suddenly something just came to my mind, that it was the summer before I moved to Japan, in the summer of 2000, and the friendships I had, and the time that we spent. So it was just in that moment where I was regaining conscience from between a dream and my alarm clock going off. I think I was thinking about things in my sleep, and in that moment of subconsciousness, I remembered a memory that pertained to that essay, and so I had to write it this morning, and so I updated it, and just all of these fond memories. And it's sad. It kind of really kills me, because some of these people, they've moved on with their life, and they don't really want to have anything to do with me anymore, and that just makes me kind of sad, because, like, it's been such a very, very, very long time, and I'm like, right now I want to just reach out and just talk to people. And it's hit or miss. You know, like, there was that lesbian girl who I dated in high school, and she was so nice at first, but it just became toxic, and we were hurting each other, and then she dropped the whole, you know, I'm a lesbian thing on me, like half a year later or so. And of course that kind of hurt me, because I was still hoping to kind of make out with her, right? But the last time I ever talked to her on the phone, she was in tears. And that's when I told her that I can't be her friend anymore. And I hated how I had handled that situation. So I found her on LinkedIn. And that's like the only social media place that I have where I use my actual name. And I apologized to her. I said, 28 years is too long of a time to wait for an apology. But I told her I'm sorry, and I told her that I'm ashamed of how I treated her. And I told her the exact date of that phone call. And I told her that I would not be able to tell her that date of that phone call if she didn't matter to me. And I said, it's because she did matter. And I said that she'll always matter to me. And she was gracious enough to respond. And she thanked me. And I responded, but I don't know if she's seen my responses. I don't get the feeling that she uses that platform very often, because she asked me how I was doing, and I haven't gotten a response back from her. Even if I don't hear from her ever again, that released so much negative energy that I've held on to my heart for 28 years, because I was like in survival mode, and I was like a turtle retreating into my shell and snapping at fingers, basically. I mean, that's the only analogy I can think of. Actually, my personality type is I'm an INFP. If you've ever taken the Myers-Briggs personality test, INFP, that's how I score. And I recently took that test again a week ago, and I'm still an INFP, and they've augmented it though, so I'm an INFP T or something like that. I posted about this on my website as well, the results. So with my personality type, I think in metaphors a lot. I have a rather figurative language, I guess, and I'm always making comparisons that way. And something else that really rang true for me when I read the results is that what people of my personality type, we take friendships very seriously, and we want, our expectation is that friendships are forever. And that's why I've been kind of driven to contact these people. And it's kind of embarrassing, but I actually created a Facebook account just to reach out to that movie actress girl that I used to date. And I told her, like, you know, I was really happy that I was able to find her on IMDb, and I said, well, you know, hey, I live in Japan, and I married my pen pal. We have a daughter, and I just want you to let you know that, you know, I told you in that letter long ago that I'll always care about you. I'll always consider you as a friend. That cretin blocked me. I don't use Facebook, but like the message icon and the ad person or whatever it is icon, those disappeared. So that means that she blocked me. So, and I think because I had a hard time getting a Facebook account because it wanted to put me in jail immediately. I don't know why. And then the first person I reached blocked me, and so then that raised red flags, and they suspended my account, and I had to unsuspend it. And once I got it unsuspended, then I deleted my account. Stupid Facebook. Shit. And I made sure to use it on a different web browser, and I cleared all of the cache. I cleared all the cookies off of that browser immediately after that fiasco. It's not the browser I normally use. So, cretin, I swear. She's the one that broke my heart, right? What the hell? Anyhow, so alright, so let's talk about some cool stuff. Now, I posted this on my YouTube thing. Only one person reacted positively. So as I mentioned, on my birthday, you know, that song that was playing in the car when I had that magical moment with my wife, it was a Slowdive song. And there was a really, really beautiful Slowdive song that I'd never heard before. And I posted it, and it got ignored. I don't know if people just, they don't bother trying to learn new things, or maybe YouTube doesn't like it when I post about like a video. I don't know. But one person replied, and we had a really cool conversation. So the thing is, like, Slowdive is like my favorite band. It's become my favorite band, I guess. I think since high school, my favorite band of all time has been The Ocean Blue. But the stuff that has been slowly released over the past like a decade or more has not been very inspired, and it's like, you know, I'll buy their CDs just because it's nostalgic, but it's not as cool as the other stuff that I've discovered since then. Excuse me. So yeah, Slowdive. It's shoegaze music, and if you've never heard shoegaze before, it's like blissfully drowning in an ocean of guitar, fuzzy, beautiful guitar. And Slowdive in particular, they have a way of just using all of these fancy foot pedals to get a guitar to sound like a choir of angels singing. Like, here's a clip here. Alright, so that's what Slowdive is like, and to even find somebody who knows the band is just wow, cool. Like a new coworker who started in my town, working for my employer. He started a year ago, and then we were talking about like Brian Eno, and I can't remember how we got on that conversation, but he's like, yeah, he produced my an album from my favorite band, Slowdive, and I'm like, did you just say Slowdive? That's your favorite band? Because I like Slowdive too, and it's just like, boom. When you meet somebody who likes that type music, it's just like, wow. It's just really, really cool. So yeah, I hit it off with him, and this other guy who's left some comments. So I'm going to show you this here. Alright, so I won't show you the whole message thread, but he just said, like, it's a shame that nobody responded to what I had posted. And he said that shoegaze is a huge inspiration to him. It's like painting with guitars. And he and I had this nice conversation. And that the cool thing that I really appreciated here, he said that he has stayed subscribed to my channel because of how well spoken I am. Wow. About so many different things: subversive politics, Japanese stacks, etc. Now, on this dead internet, it's becoming increasingly rare for people to seem so real, and you always seem to be. That's really cool. That made me happy. So yeah, Mr. Anonymous, whatever your name is, that's really cool. I really appreciate what you had to say. And he says that he enjoys writing as well. So he said it's commendable that I've written so much stuff on my site the way I have. And he says that most content creators would never allow themselves to appear vulnerable unless they could get something out of it. And yeah, that was just really cool. I'm happy that I got that nice kind feedback. So what started it all was this really cool video that I found. I'm going to show you some of the comments on this one video. Right, and I'll have a link to the actual song so you can hear it for yourself. But what? Okay, so this actually goes right along hand in hand to the stuff I've been writing about. Alright, so the way that this one song has affected so many people in such a fantastically popular, a fantastically powerful way. Like, for example, here somebody wrote, if you, Feathers 2620 said, if you are 15 and 19, please make every moment count, man. Talk to your crush, go make friends, make memories with them, smile, laugh a lot, hug your mom and dad, grandma and grandpa. Time flies so fast and you cannot go back. My heart aches so much because I took my teen years for granted. All the nights I stayed home instead of hanging with my friends because I was mad at something so little. Now we are all splitting up and going into our own little universes. We're so small, and life and time is so precious. Please make it count. Because one day, it'll be all over, and you'll be looking back with the same heartache as I have. Wow. Here's somebody else. Baked Crispy said, heard this song for the first time after a long night of drinking and contemplating suicide. It's easy to feel alone and vulnerable when the world you exist in doesn't feel like you belong. Yeah. I just hope everybody who sees this knows they're not alone. And they are seen. Life can be bleak and cold and filled with anxiety, but we don't have to go through it alone. I hope you all stay safe. So Lost Cat said, do you ever look at strangers smiling or dancing and having fun and think, I love you? Or see someone bop their heads along with the music from their headphones, and you just wish you could tell them how pretty they look just doing that? Or feel your heart warm when you watch somebody laugh really loudly and then think about them later that day completely randomly? You're a part of that too. Someone has kept quiet about how beautiful you are to them, has smiled at the thought of this complete stranger that made their day, and has repeated a joke you made to someone they love. There's a lot of quiet love and admiration and connection in this world, and even if you think you don't belong, you've always been and always will be a part of it. This one guy, Slushy, said, I just graduated from high school and it feels like a chapter of my life is ending. Slowdive has carried me through all 4 years of it, but I'm only just now finding this video, and it feels like the perfect song to cap off such an important time. I'm not ready to grow up, but I know that in 12 years, when I turn 30, I'll still be coming back to this video and remembering all the joy, heartache, growth, and love that came with this period of time. Other person said, I was only 19 when I first discovered the song. Now I am 35 years old. This is really cool. The Intros Project said, the song reminds me of the time I was commuting on a bus. The window was open. The wind was playing with my hair. It was almost midnight. That was the time I felt most alive. This guy, Jamie, said, in 1 hour I will turn 18. The first time I listened to this song, I knew this was going to be the last song listening to before I become an adult. This song is so magical to me. It has these sadness but also happiness in it at the same time. I guess this is life. So it's just amazing. It really is amazing how I was not expecting to read so many beautiful comments in this video, but that just really impacted me, because this is the stuff I've been writing about since December. I've been writing exactly about all of this stuff, all of the melancholy, all of the wistful regrets, and all of the things. All of the things that I could have said. All of the things I could have done, and all of the things I wish I hadn't said. All the things I wish I hadn't done. So, I listened to this, I found it on SoundCloud, and I downloaded it, and I was listening to this song non-stop on repeat. I had it constantly going, and I was reading through my essay, and it just inspired me to write more and more about. There was this guy named Max, and I wrote about it. If you want to read it again, go ahead. I know some people, they read it maybe twice so far, but his name really wasn't Max. He was a BBSer, and he his handle was Mad Max on the BBS. His real name was Mike, but we always just called him Max. He went to our high school, and so I had some other BBSer friends that they graduated with me, and there was this time when we went to a swim party, so some friends at church, and this guy Scott, it was his house, and he had this really bad pigeon infestation, And he had a BB gun to kind of thin the pigeon population. I think eventually he got in trouble for that. But anyhow, so we went swimming, and this guy Max, he didn't get in the pool with us. He just sat on a lawn chair in the sun, and I think he was just wearing black, and he must have been hot, but he had that BB gun across his lap, and all he wanted to do was shoot pigeons. And I'm like, there's pretty girls in this pool, dude. And come on, and he just didn't want to join us. And he would rather just try to just shoot pigeons off of Scott's roof. It was just kind of morbid. But this same guy, I found out that summer of goodbyes of August 2000, that was the summer before I moved to Japan. That was the summer, actually, I was reunited with another BBSer, named Lou, and he's like my best friend from Arizona, and he's married to a J girl as well, and her mom lives like an hour from where I live. And but anyhow, there was this other guy from high school, and he's the one who got me into BBSing. And I met up with him the summer before I moved to Japan, and he said, Max is dead. He's dead, dude. And I'm like, what? 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 And he said, yeah, his parents came home one evening. They found him dead on the floor of their bathroom. So I didn't know it, but he was a tweaker. He was a crystal meth addict, and I didn't understand. I'm so naive about stuff. I don't know. And he said that that crystal meth is nothing but cleaning chemicals, and so when they can't get high, these people get like cravings for chemicals, and like drinking bleach and weird stuff like that, or Windex, or God knows what. I don't know, but his parents came home and they found him dead. He was frothing at the mouth, and he had died from ingesting all of that crap. And I said, I always heard that his parents are kind of ogres, and he says, no, man, his parents were good. They loved him, but they didn't know what to do with him because he was on drugs. And he said that they were like good Christian parents, but they were scared of losing him, and eventually they did lose him. And that whole time, I don't know if he was like on drugs the whole time. I don't know. I'm so naive. I've never done drugs before. I don't know, but I've never even smoked a cigarette in my life. My mom smoked cigarettes, right? That was enough to make me stay away from it. But yeah, he said they were good people. And I remember, like, when I picked him up, when we were going to the swim party, I was like standing in the living room, and I saw some nice stuff, some family stuff, and I think they had like a cross on the wall or something other, and I was just like, I was like, I don't get it, because they seem nice, but he tells me how terrible they are, but he was arguing with them, and I don't know if they thought I was a bad person or not, but they let him go, and because I told him, we're some friends from church, we're gonna go swimming. So yeah, their son died. I was 20, and I think he had just graduated our high school or something other, or close to it. I don't know. Yeah, because that was in '96 when that happened. But golly, yeah, just memories. Stuff just comes back to me. It just keeps coming back to me. So maybe I'll make this into a book eventually. I don't know, but like as of now, I think I'm finally satisfied. just with that memory, because there was that one special girl that I've been racking my mind, like, when was the last time I saw her? When was the last time? And this is the girl I thought about maybe marrying someday. Yeah, and she was like, "Oh, so when are you going to China again?" I'm like, "I'm not going to China, I'm going to Japan." I don't know if she was doing that on purpose or what, but for what it's worth, I loved her, but I just knew that there was just so much that she was not a different wavelengths. She's a super nice girl though, but she had problems. I had problems, I guess, but yeah. My camera kind of crapped out on me last night, the battery, and I didn't have any other backup batteries charged, so I'm resuming tonight. Anyhow, I was going to mention that it's funny because, like, some people that kind of gave me crap for doing the whole Japan thing, and odds are a lot of these people, their kids are into Japanese animation and stuff like that, so it's kind of interesting to think about, I guess. Who knows? I have no idea, but it just seems to be kind of a poetic justice, I guess, if that is true. So, yeah, I was getting kind of sidetracked, but yeah, like about that kid Max, the guy who died. I was just thinking, like, if I had only been more of a positive person in his life, then possibly, I could have saved him, I guess. But with my limited personal bandwidth, being an introvert myself, I kind of like to have my circle of friends kind of tighter, and I can't keep track of too many people. And in fact, once I moved to Japan, it kind of really worked against me, because I lost track of a lot of people when I moved to Japan, and I was just focused on my brand new life and just being overwhelmed, and every day was a new adventure and such. So, but the thing is, though, is that we can just learn from our past, and in terms of being light to people, that's something important to think about going forward, and especially like with my job, working with kids and such, I try to be really positive towards kids, and I can pretty much easily sense when which kids have emotional problems and such. The kids who are shy, the kids who need special attention, and I always try to be the kindest to those kids, because I can kind of relate to how they feel. That's kind of how I felt when I was a kid. So I'm always trying to compliment. If a boy has like a cool T-shirt or whatever, I'll say something cool, or say nice shirt or whatever. Try to uplift these kids as much as possible. Or if a girl gets a new short haircut or whatever, she does something different with her hair, I'm like, what, your hair looks wonderful today. Or like, hey, you're really stylish today. Just to edify and uplift others. And that's one thing I get to do on a regular basis with my job. And I'm learning to really appreciate the position I'm in more because of all of this. Because of my, people say, put the past behind you, move on, just, bury the past or whatever. No, I'm not going to do that. I that's why I refuse to watch The Last Jedi or whatever that was called. You need to focus on the past. You need to learn from the past. You need to celebrate your past. Appreciate your failures. Learn from your past and then move on. And that's how you grow as a person. And that's what I find myself doing mostly right now, is thinking about what I could have done, what I should have done or whatever, but going forward to do that, to be a light to other people as much as I can. So there's one more thing I want to mention about reaching back and trying to find people and such. This is a really cool story. Now, a friend of mine, he kind of cut me and 2 of my friends out of his life just suddenly. It was like 6 years ago, and he did it in such a way. He said goodbye, and I called the Phoenix Police Department and inquired about if there was any suicides or whatever. And because the way he said that, it really kind of freaked me out. And he found out that he didn't kill himself, but because he was always just like in a lot of hurt and pain. So without going too much into the story, he's an illegal immigrant, and he's from Mexico, but it was kind of not really his fault. He's kind of stranded in America. It's a long story, but like his 2 younger brothers got green cards, but he didn't because he was past that age cutoff from, because he could have gotten a green card from his mom if he was a little bit younger. And he had already come up to America, and it's like, what are you gonna do now? And the immigration system is just completely broken in America. Yeah, he just kind of cut us all out of his life. And in January, I reached out to him and I said, I hope there wasn't anything that I've done to make you angry at me, because you're always going to be my friend. And I said, you're probably not going to respond to this email, because I had sent him emails in the past with no response. And I said, you're probably not going to respond to me, but I care about you, and you'll always be my friend. And 2 weeks later, he responded, and he explained himself, and he was just in such a dark time in his life that he just didn't want to bother his friends, because it's just the same story over and over again, and he knew there was nothing we could do to help him. So he just wanted to just shoulder his burdens by himself, I guess. And but this email, he assured me that I am his friend, and so that really made me happy. That really made me happy. So, gosh, yeah, that was just a really good story. So I just wanted to share that as well. So yeah, I guess I'm probably well over an hour into this video, and I guess a lot of people, they just want to watch neat crap that I've bought or whatever. Yeah, let me go ahead and show you. I have actually bought a few tools and supplies, so let's do that first, okay?
Supplies!
Slim clips. Check this out. Now, this is by Hobby Base, and look at that. It grabs onto crap. Check this out. Picked this up at my local hobby store, and look at this. Look at that. Right? It's like the reverse clips. Now, I do have these, and I've used these, and these have been pretty handy, actually. However, these are smaller, so this would be pretty useful, I think. And that's why I got these, and I'm happy about that. And there you go. So yeah, I got a whole bunch of these, and it's pretty swanky. Now, especially like for like engine cans and stuff like that on airplanes and stuff. Now, this is by HiQ Parts. This is the Kumano brush. Yes, right there, Kumano Fude. Alright, so what does that mean? Don't worry about it. Bare field, whatever. This is for cleaning out your airbrush. Now, I never knew about this until Rebels at Cloud9 did a video of this. And sorry, I got some bad allergies. Anyhow, you could dip it in the lacquer thinner and stuff, just you know, moving around in there, and this can get up inside there, and this is really cool. This is really fantastic. So I'm looking forward to using that. I think I might be using it later today. Alright, so yeah, it's by HiQ Parts. Also by HiQ Parts is the Decal Squeegee. Isn't that great? Isn't that great? Now I have been using those other things. It's very similar, I suppose, for decaling. Let me get this guy out of here. There. So HiQ Parts. All right. So what I have been using actually. By Gaia Notes, I've been using these things. It's pretty much the same thing, really, but this is bigger. And so you got the flat here, and you got the slant. I'll probably be using this more often than this, I think. But yeah, it's for moving your decals around. So you get this wet and, you know, move around. So, tool for apply to water slide mark, dust-free soft sponge, lathe manufacturing aluminum grip. That's right, it is aluminum. So, alright, so this guy got that says right here. Let me get this out of my hair. Okay. Yeah, you can kind of use it as a sponge. So you might be able to, you know, flatten it down and such. So yeah, that's pretty cool. That's really cool. Okay, so I'm going to show you stuff I've been working on. I can't believe it's been, what, November, December, January, February, March. It's been like a half a year has gone by already. And like I haven't really been doing much at all. Somebody commented on the A-Wing video that I put up. I think it was in February. He's like, "Oh, I haven't seen you post anything for a while." And I'm like, well, I mean, I post model builds on Odyssey, but obviously he's not paying attention to that. You know, getting people to watch my stuff on Odyssey has been like pulling teeth, and with my audience disintegrating as I am continually shadow banned on YouTube, I just, you know, a part of me just doesn't even want to care anymore. I'm just kind of, I don't know. I have to admit, my mind, I'm really just not at it right now. I'm slowly working on stuff, and like just today I finished this. You know, it's a weekend right now. It's April. It's a week since the last part you just saw. I'm just trying to get in a mind where I can just enjoy my hobbies more. I just gotta admit that I just kind of just don't know what to do anymore. I just feel kind of lost. I don't know what's going on with me. My mind is really just focused on my friends that I've lost over the years, and I just want to just reach out and just be good and just remind people that, you know, I care for them. And that's just where I'm at right now. And hobbies have taken a back seat as a result. I'm sorry for being boring. I just want to I want to get back to where I was in my life, but I don't know. It's kind of hard. It's kind of hard, I have to admit. I I don't know what I'm doing sometimes. I feel... I don't know. I'm rambling, as always. I do apologize, and I know I talk slowly, so if it helps to speed up the video speed, you know, do so, I guess. The dirty pair, this is almost done. I need to attach their earrings. I painted them today. So they're different colors. Kay's is like a steel color, and then Yuri's is like a metallic red. So I'm going to attach those to their ears somehow. And then once I do that, I think I'll be done. Oh wait, no. No, I need to attach the back of Kay's headband as well. I finished painting that. So, what else? In November, I really got started just doing a whole bunch of resin kits, right? So this is Leifang. And I've had some difficulties with this is an Eggplane Girl. This is a Hakudinfa in a bikini. I've had to strip paint off of her twice because the masking is lifting up. I've soaked it. I don't know what the hell's going on. I just don't get it. I got the busty chick. I masked her off. The paint did not lift up. But what the hell's going on here? Ah, dang it. Just wet sand that, I suppose. I don't know what the hell's going on here. So something touched it or something. I don't know. A little bit lifted up here though. So I'm going to have to just do a little bit of repainting a little bit. Some of the paint kind of bled under here, like on her butt crack and in her cleavage a little bit. I'm not at all happy about that. I've just been interested in doing these resin figures though. This Nadia, I've been slowly working on her for like years now. I had to strip off and then repaint because I yanked off some of the paint. I swear, resin, I can never get the hang of resin. I really just can't. It's fun, but it's also extremely frustrating. And then I've got this Asuka. I showed an unboxing of her in my previous update video. I've got her yellow dress. I've got her her legs. Right. I've got this taped off. I'm gonna paint her panties, and then I'll be done hopefully with that. And then you know, I got the flesh color down and all that. So like, here's her face here. So hopefully it's not gonna take too much more effort. Hopefully, you know, it doesn't seem like the paint is lifting off that one at all. Other than that, I think that's pretty much it. Just mostly these resin. I know this actually had a lot of interest, and it's been finished for quite a while, but I'm just not happy with the glue here. I might just fall for it and just ignore it, because I really don't feel like trying to repaint that. I'm just not in the mood. So I might just leave that alone. I don't know. But yeah, I can probably finish that up as well. What else? I think that's it. I have not touched like the Tomcat or the Macross Valkyrie. There's so much I haven't done. Again, I'm going to continue with Odyssey. I just get these stupid strikes, and it's stuff that in a matter of time this stuff is going to come out as true, just like everything else. But YouTube has to protect their precious narrative at whatever cost, and it's ridiculous. They are just so desperate to protect a failed narrative, and at the cost of just alienating their own users. It's really sad and pathetic. Anyhow, I guess let's do a little bit of stuff and things, and then finish this video off.
I've spent my whole life in the media. My dad was in the media. Like, that is a big part of the revelation that's changed my life, is the media are part of the control apparatus. Like, there's no, yeah, I know. Cause you're younger and smarter and you're like, yeah.
Yeah.
But what if you're me and you spent your whole life in that world, and to look around and all of a sudden you're like, oh, wow. Not only are they part of the problem, but I spent most of my life being part of the problem, defending the Iraq war. Like, I actually did that. Can you imagine if you did that?
Well, what do you think? What is one of your biggest regrets in your career?
Oh, defending the Iraq war.
That is it?
Well, I've had a million regrets, not being more skeptical, calling people names when I should have listened to what they were saying. Look, when someone makes a claim, there's only one question that's important at the very beginning, which is the claim true or not?
Mm.
So I say, you committed murder or you rigged the last election. Before you attack me as a crazy person for saying that, maybe you should explain whether you did it or not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And for too long, I participated in the culture where I was like, anyone who thinks outside these pre-prescribed lanes is crazy, is a conspiracy theorist. And I just really regret that. I'm ashamed that I did that. And partly it was age, partly it was the world that I grew up in. So when you look at me and you're like, yeah, of course they're part of the means of control, I'm like, that's obvious to you because you're 28, but I just didn't see it at all. And I'm ashamed of that.
Isn't that what the media tries to do, though?
It's their only purpose.
Right.
They're not here to inform you. Really? Even on the big things that really matter, like the economy and war and COVID and like things that really matter that will affect you. No, their job is not to inform you. They are working for the small group of people who actually run the world. They're their servants. They're their Praetorian Guard. And we should treat them with maximum contempt because they have earned it.
Right.
Look at this. Scientists struggle to understand why Antarctica hasn't warmed for over 70 years despite rise in CO2. Scientists are scrambling to explain why the continent of Antarctica has shown net zero warming for the last 7 decades and almost certainly much longer. Well, obviously it's because we're not giving enough money to filthy rich white people. Because that seems to be the only solution for global warming, right? Just give more money. Take my money. I'm so stupid. Alright, so I know some people have already talked about this with me before, with the whole this Trump thing. Just it's a bunch of crap. It's a bunch of filter carb, right? I mean, he's gonna be like, if you strike me down, I shall become more powerful than you could possibly imagine. It's true. So true. Hugely powerful. The more you tighten your grip, the more voters shall slip through your fingers. We like to call it slippy slip. Okay? Slippery. Very slippery. All your voter base are belong to us. You have no chance to survive. Make your time. It's true. So true. Yeah, people are talking about the whole Banana Republic thing. Yeah, whatever. Enjoy the show. This is going to backfire. It already is. It really is backfiring. I don't know. It's just a matter of time. Easy for me to say because I'm not in America. Now, eggs have gotten more expensive here in Japan as well. Not as gas too, but it's not as bad as in America. I don't know. Hopefully, you just bide our time, and then things are going to get better. Again, I don't think Biden's going to survive a whole 4 years. We shall see in this year, but that's just what I think. Okay, so yeah, today is Easter Sunday, right? So today is April 9th. It's been over a week since that I started recording this video. I almost decided to just scrap this video. I don't know. I'm not sure if I want to continue doing this anymore, but at the same time, I really do enjoy getting feedback from the very few people who actually still watch my stuff on my channel. I have to admit, I get kind of lonely. I mean, I've got my family. For the longest time, that's been enough, but I don't know. I'm just going through a difficult point in my life right now, and I'm not really interested in buying any new model kits, really. I don't know. My daughter has now begun her 3rd year of junior high, which means that she's going to have to study like crazy. You have like one shot to have a entrance exam for high school. If you are incapacitated somehow for health or whatever, then you are SOL. The Japanese school system, it really fosters suicide, and I can't believe that they don't understand this. The way that they focus so much on these tests and how they totally stress these kids out, it's really sick. At the same time, though, I have spared my daughter from so much, right? Just the kids here are far more innocent. They don't have so much crap that kids in America do. It's really sad. I don't know. If you have kids in America, just pray for them. I swear. I don't know what to say. With all of this, you know, they. Again, it's like oh shoot, what's his name? George Carlin is the name I'm trying to think of. You know, the elites try to pit us against each other, and I can certainly see this whole those who are suffering from gender identity disorder put some firearms in their hands. These people are just messed up, but I think they just want us fighting against each other instead of focusing our bitterness towards the people who are controlling the situation. They want people to get pissed off at these people suffering from gender identity disorder. I don't want to even use the real word that they want you to use, because that's what they are. I have compassion for them, but at the same time, these people are mentally deranged. And I refuse to fall into the trap of hating them. But that's what they want us to do, is to hate them. And it's just really sad and sick, and I don't want to cooperate with that. So yeah, there's so much weird crap going on today in this world. They aren't forcing that on my daughter in school, though, like they would in America. I know some people, they homeschooling, and actually my daughter's pen pal, I found out that she's homeschooled, and that's cool. Really curious what the motivation, the reasoning behind that is. But I don't know, maybe I'll learn in time, I suppose. My daughter has a new pen pal in America, which is pretty cool. So yeah, I'm gonna probably have to just save up money as much as I can for my girl for high school. I don't know what's gonna happen. I mean, I have to, buy uniforms and all that crap. It's just so expensive. I mean, you see, like, if you watch anime, you see the kids with their school uniforms, but you have no idea how expensive those things are. It's ridiculous. Totally ridiculous. You'd think that they have, like, diamond sequins sewn into them for how much money you have to pay for these things. It's ridiculous. Anyhow, yeah. So I'm hoping I might be able to visit America next year, I don't know. I just don't have the money for it. It's so much more expensive than it used to be. So, I don't know, that would be in the summer of 2024. Maybe things would be better by then. I don't know, guys. I don't know. We shall see. So, I'm gonna end this video here. I don't know what else to talk about. Just pray for me if you're a praying person. I've been just so stressed out praying for other people, and I need to pray for myself more, I suppose. Yeah, I'm really concerned about friends, and it's just, I feel just an empty void in me without them in my life. And these are people who I haven't talked to in such a very long time. And yeah, it's just been weighing on my mind a lot. So yeah, I think that's about all. This video is probably way too long as it is, so as always, if you've seen it to the end, let me know. Because I think I'll put this on YouTube directly. This might get like maybe 100, 200 views maybe, but like maybe only like not even a dozen people will actually sit through it for like, you know, the first 5 minutes or so. Especially with the way I rant, I guess. One last thing. Hey, yeah, since if you have seen me to the end, go to my website. There is a link to video I uploaded on YouTube of my daughter drumming. She's a fantastic drummer. I've never been musically inclined. I mean, I had a guitar, and I bought myself an electric guitar. I had a bass guitar. I wanted to learn, but I just couldn't do it on my own. But my daughter, she's in her brass band, and she totally kicked ass. She did like the video I uploaded is the theme song to the anime Spy Family. Look in the links below in the description. Go to my there's going to be a link to my WordPress blog that's on my homepage, my website. Go to there, and it has a link to the YouTube video. Yeah, because it's an unlisted video. I uploaded it, but I didn't make it public, so you can watch it that way. So yeah, I'm just so proud of her. You know, it's pride. It should not be what you are. It should be who you are. Your accomplishments, stuff like ethnicity or your sexuality and stuff. That's not pride. That's stupid. Why should you be proud of that? That's just ridiculous and dumb. You should be proud of your family when they excel. Like my daughter, she did such a great job. I'm so proud of her. So yeah, I'll watch that. And before I go, one more thing. I finally figured out how to add a like button to my WordPress blog on my homepage. So when you go there, if you know the content that you like, add a like, click on the like button, and let me know if you've actually seen this stuff. Because I don't, this whole time I don't know how many people have actually looked at this stuff. But yeah, this way I can actually find out, and you don't have to have a login or anything. You don't have to have a WordPress login in order to leave a like. So it's just a generic like button, so I'd appreciate that. So yeah, this is the end of the video. So as always, live long and prosper. May the force be with you, and so long. Thanks for all the fish. Hopefully we'll get through this year and finish it off in a good way, I hope.